Welcome to As the Story Grows. I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Austin Hayes to the podcast. Austin is the frontman for Florida deathcore newcomers Heavy Hitter. Heavy Hitter released Moments of Misery last Friday on Blue Grape Music. In this short chat, Austin talks about the resurgence of the Florida metal scene, Heavy Hitter's evolution towards a heavier sound, the themes on Moment of Misery, and what the future holds for the band. Thanks much for checking out this episode of As the Story Grows. If you're brand new to the podcast, thanks for listening. You can find links in the show notes or at asthestorygrows.com to our podcast community on Discord. You can sign up for our mailing list, or you can get early access to every episode and support the show financially over on Patreon. And if you think someone might enjoy this episode, I would love it if you shared it with them. Enjoy today's chat with Austin Hayes from Heavy Hitter.
No, we're on tour right now. We're in California. We're on tour for 44 fucking days.
Yeah, I looked at the tour schedule that's up on your Bandcamp page. It looks like a crazy tour routing.
Yeah. We left Orlando and we did Pensacola, San Antonio, drove to Phoenix, and then we started the tour at Carnifex in Pomona the other day on Friday.
Man,
so we just got done with that weekend with Carnifex, and today's the first off day with them. So
nice.
Had some time for some interviews. Yeah.
It's crazy. But you grew up in Orlando?
No. I grew up in Florida. We all kind of did pretty much. Guitarist is from Canada, actually.
Oh wow!
But everyone grew up in Florida. Like, kind of grew up all over Florida: Titusville, West Palm Beach, Orlando a little bit, but mostly South Florida, like West Palm, Port St. Lucie area.
What was growing up like?
Growing up in Florida, hurricanes.
Yeah,
pretty much it. Just hurricanes and alligators. No, not really alligators, but yeah, hurricanes and the beach. Music scene in Florida has always been really strong.
Yeah.
I didn't really get into that though until I was like in my teenage years. So, but it's awesome. The music scene there is very, very thriving right now. I would say even more so than when I was growing up as a teenager. But yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it seems like maybe the music scene in Florida has shifted more back to its metal roots with like this deathcore, death metal resurgence.
I would say so. Yes, I absolutely would say so. I think Florida has a lot of great deathcore, death metal bands coming out of there right now. And I mean, they've already had a bunch of, even before, like I would say in the last 2 years, there was already a decent amount of good bands that were coming out of Florida, like Body Snatcher, Traders.
Yeah, it's cool. What was it that got you into music? And then maybe more specifically, what got you into like heavy music?
So I used to skateboard back in the day, and when I was 14, I moved to this place called Palm Bay, Florida. And the guy that lived across the street from me, he was like 18 and I was 14. He was listening to this band called Chiodos, and I never really got into screaming music before or anything like that. So he put it on. Well, and he took us to go skateboarding to like some spot in his car one day, like him and a couple of his friends. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at first. I was like, what is this? Like, but the more I listened to it, it grew on me. And then I was like, oh, wait, I actually really like this. But that was when I was 14. Didn't start doing music until I would say late 15 years old, 16 years old. And it was just vocals. Never played guitar, bass, or drums, only vocals.
Nice. Was it from Chiodos? Was it just kind of this progression of like, that's cool, what else is there, and just continuing to get heavier and heavier, that rabbit hole we all fall down?
Yeah, pretty much. That's exactly how it happened. Yeah, it started from Chiodos, and then it just progressively got heavier and heavier, and then next thing you know, that time next year, I'm jamming Waking the Cadaver, Carnifex, Whitechapel, stuff like that. And those songs, those were the bands that I'd say like Carnifex, Whitechapel were the ones where that really got me more into like, okay, I think I want to do vocals. Yeah. And I started trying to cover their songs when I get off of school. I'd come home, no one would be home, do it for like 2 hours trying to figure out how to do it. So yeah.
What was it that drew you to vocals in that frontman role? Just a lack of musical ability, or was there something?
No, you're absolutely right. I tried to play guitar and bass a few times, and I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't interested in it, or I'm just not good in it. It took a lot of time, but the vocals to me was interesting. I found it as fun, and I had like, it didn't feel as challenging, I suppose, as the guitar and the bass and the drums and stuff. So I was like, I think I'm gonna do this. I think I like this.
Nice. Yeah. There's definitely some practice that goes into like being good at your instrument, but I think there's some inherent skill in being able to play things. Like I can play drums, but I never took lessons. It was just like, I think I can do that, and that I could do it, right? So I think there is some I think some people are born with a little more inherent skill than others, maybe.
No, absolutely. No, I completely agree. There's some natural born talent out there. They got the rhythm out of just coming out like that. It's crazy.
Yeah. Let's talk about Heavy Hitter. Are you an original member of this band?
I am. Me and the guitarist Dane are the OG members. Started the band in 2017 in like a closet-sized storage unit. So that's pretty much how it all started right there.
Nice.
But yeah, me and Dane are the OG members.
Nice. What was the inspiration for the band name? Kind of the style of it?
It really, man, it was the old, I think it was either, I wouldn't say it was the old drummer, but it was like me, Dane, and the old drummer. We were trying to figure out a name, and we used to call ourselves, we really didn't have a name, and we were struggling to figure one out. So we just called ourselves the unit number at the time, just as a placeholder. It was like unit 26 or something like that. And we started there, and then either Dane or the old drummer came, and they said that they had this name, Heavy Hitter, and a previous name that we were working on had 2 slashes in it, or it was like an idea for a name, and it had the 2 slashes. So when they said Heavy Hitter, I was like, let's add the 2 slashes. And when we added it, that was pretty much it. And then we just like, okay, that's cool. And we just stuck with it ever since. And that was like, I think winter 2017, something like that.
Nice. I went back and listened to your discography today, and there's this progression as the band goes along. You get heavier and heavier. Is that just like members coming in, or was it like always this, just people getting better at their instruments and being a band that has led to what the band sounds like now? Because it's very much a hardcore band in the start that progresses into something more deathcore-esque.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, a little bit of both. Because me and Dane are the OG members, and when we first started, we weren't the best at composing. I would say composing music in a way and stuff. Like some of those early songs, they're cool, but they're not as good as like what we right now. Obviously. But yeah, a little bit of both. Chris is our bassist now. He's been the bassist for the last like 5, almost 6 years. But before him, we went through like 4 different bassists. We just couldn't keep a bass player. It was so hard at the time. Josh, I believe, is our 4th drummer as well. Yeah, he's recently new this year. But yeah, no, he's our 4th drummer. He joined this year after we did the Paved in Blood video with him, and it was awesome. It's been gravy ever since. But yeah, before that, there was 3 drummers before Josh. So a little bit of both, you know what I mean? We write everything together live in a warehouse. We don't write anything on like a computer or a DAW or anything. So as we just do that, over the years, we have gradually progressed as, composers, musicians. Just, what works, what sounds good, what doesn't sound good. Like, oh, I heard this the other day in my head. Let's do this, just a little over time, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. You guys kind of have this slow drip of singles throughout the years, and then the pandemic hits. How did you guys respond as a band, and what were your thoughts like as a path forward once the pandemic hits and the world shuts down?
It sucked. I mean, that part did suck, not being able to play shows, because we were playing a decent amount of shows in the local area for like a hot minute before then. And when that stopped, we just kind of hunkered down, locked down, and we wrote that EP, Street Violence, that whole year. So that entire year, 2020, we spent like 5 months writing it. And then the production took a little longer than expected. Yeah. There was like a bunch of hiccups and stuff during that year with one producer, and then he ended up fucking off, and then we had to go to a different one to get it all mixed and mastered. It was a nightmare, but it all came together. We just spent all COVID writing. We didn't play any shows, do anything else. We just wrote that EP, practiced the shit out of it, and then when shows came back, summer of 2021, we were ready to go. Yeah. We were like hitting the ground running.
Nice.
But I know that was hard for a lot of bands during that time. So
yeah. And I imagine if you're a new band, you're just getting started, it could be just like well, fuck us, right? Like,
yeah, very discouraging. It definitely could be.
This new EP's out on Blue Grape Music. How'd you get connected with that label?
So, pretty much it was a cold message from David, the label, David Rath, the label owner. He sent us an email. I'd have to see. I think it was January of this year, maybe December. I think it was January of this year. He said someone multiple people at the record label had showed him our music. I think particularly the Paved in Blood LCY video that we did, the black and white one. He loved it. He said he really fucking liked it, and he wanted to talk to us. You know what I mean? So we started talking to him. I found out who he was. The guy signed like bands like Slipknot, Turnstile, Code Orange. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I want to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
So. So he's really nice. He's really cool. Yeah. The label's dope. They've been very helpful. I mean, I can't really have any complaints right now about anything, but that's how it all happened. It was just kind of out of thin air. We didn't even see it coming.
Nice. New EP is called Moments of Misery. What led to that title?
So all the songs are technically about even the EP artwork. Each song is about, a struggle in, your life, like, some sort of hardship that you have to go through, the moments of misery that you're going to go through your entire life. So each song defines a different type of moment, a different type of feeling or anything like revenge, a relationship not working out because it started in the wrong place, stuff like that. It's really just about just the grief that you have to go through every day almost.
Yeah. That was the catalyst for the album artwork, or each of those little images.
Yeah, each one represents a different each one represents a different moment, of misery. So that's what we wanted to go for the theme. And really we didn't even have that planned in the beginning. That was all everything. We just kind of came up with all that while we were in LA recording. And we were trying to just make everything work as we went, but it ended up coming up with a really cool concept in the end.
Nice. EP's out November. You guys are on this tour. What's the plan in future? I saw briefly, I think on your Facebook or X or something, you said like there's a conversation about something crazy possibly happening in 2025.
Oh yeah. I can't say anything.
Yeah, you can't say anything about that.
Yeah. That was a very interesting conversation, and I really hope that it comes to fruition. But we will be on tour again from January to I think early February, and it'll be another full U.S. tour. We're going Florida, everywhere, California again. So, that's going to be announcing, I think, in the next few days. I could be mistaken, but I believe it announces in the next few days. So, we got another full U.S. tour in the works right after December. Don't give up on your dreams. Keep working at it. It takes really fucking hard. It takes a lot of work, and Heavy Hitter is quite literally a testament to that. You know, we started from nothing, started in a storage unit, and somehow we got signed, and now we have 2 national tours we're doing. I don't know how the fuck it happened, but here we are, baby.
Yeah. It's really a blessing, if like, because so many smaller bands post pandemic, like the touring scene has been a struggle. So to like get on some of these bigger tours, and like, be support acts, like, you know, you start.
It's tough.
It's tough. Yeah.
It's not easy, and you have to know someone, and they have to know someone as well.
Yeah.
Like your agent has to know that agent, and it's not as easy as some people think. No, absolutely right.
I can't stand the way you think. It's like a gun to my head.